Hey, this is a conversation with Phil and Pete. My name's Phil,
This is Pete.
and we're here with Randy today. He is a EMT, fire chief, superhero, Spider Man, um, Green Lantern,
You name it,
fucking
he is.
everything else. He is
Jack of all trades.
jack of all trades. How you doing, Randy?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Fantastic, really
Um,
good, actually.
yeah, me too. I'm doing really good. And Randy, just to give a formal introduction to yourself, because like you told us, you're an EMT and so forth. What are the official titles of what you got, or what is it that you do?
I am the station chief for Garfield Volunteer Fire Department. I am lead EMT and firefighter one. I also work for Hatch Ambulance Service as an EMT on that ambulance.
Oh wow.
Oh wow! So work on the ambulance and put out a lot of fires, huh?
Yes,
What do you see more of? You see more of the action of going to fires, or do they end up being together? But what do you see more of call out wise, EMT or fire?
EMT. EMT is 90% of our call is EMS related, 10% is fire related.
Oh
Oh
wow!
wow.
Yeah, and
Are-
that's for the like probably the whole county is we have more EMS calls than we do fire calls.
and those EMS calls, they range from somebody having an anxiety attack, or to somebody actually rolling up to a dead body, I would assume.
Yes, we got a call for there's somebody that has a headache to where it's a CPR in progress, and we can't save that person, or at the end of the day we save that person. So it just depends on the call. This morning at 4 o'clock in the morning we ran CPR in progress, and the situation was we couldn't save her. So yeah, every morning, time of day, it doesn't matter. We're out to run the call, so it's crazy.
Damn. So you're always on the run, from what it sounds like. Always.
Yeah, I'm always on call. I'm a volunteer, so I'm on call 24/7. Even when I'm at work, my job actually lets me leave to answer the EMS calls for Doña Cristo, which is cool. So
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. So rolling up to, so I'm assuming though, you've rolled up to a call where you've ran into a dead body, or they're deceased.
yes,
What's that like, my man?
it's uh at first it used to bother me. I could go months and I would still I could picture it every day for months and months. I've been doing it for 18 years now, and I see a dead body and then I move on. I don't let it affect me, but I know here in the future I'm gonna have that PTSD, and it's gonna kick my butt in the end. But for now, I don't let it bother me, and I just move on because I have a family that I gotta raise, and at the end of the day, I just gotta move on.
You're attacking it. Is you're
Yeah.
just you're attacking it as you go through it, and
Yeah.
that's real smooth to hear. Ever, and I've always just wanted to know this. You ever ran into or got a call to somebody or
Yes.
somebody
Uh,
you don't
I
gotta
ran
say
a
their
call.
name,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just
I ran a call for one of my cousins. He ran over his nephew in an accident.
oh no,
He
fuck.
they pulled up at home. They dropped off his the father of the kid. He dropped him off at home. They got off work. The little boy chased the trucks. They happy to see dad, and he drove off and he ran over the little boy. I showed up on scene. I was one of the first ones on scene. We ended up doing CPR, and we had to stop, and there was no way we could bring him back.
God
Oh jeez.
That little boy, man, I used to sit him. I used to cruise with him, man. He was little. He was 4 years old,
damn.
and he would have been 13 years now, I think. So yeah,
Jeez.
it's crazy, man. Yeah, it's that was one of the worst calls I've ever ran in my life because it's a family member.
Did
It's
you know right
fucking
away, or
heartbreaking.
did you like? Were you like halfway there and be like, "Fuck, I'm going to my uncle's
When
house"?
when I got the call, my wife wasn't part of the fire department yet, and we were trying to figure out the address because it's a small town where we live.
Yeah.
So like, okay, this address, this is the home. While I was en route, she called me, "Hey, it's this house. I'm pretty sure it's this house," and it clicked to me where it was that house. And after she had told me, within seconds, I got a phone call. hurry up, hurry up. And then, yeah, I knew where I was going. My adrenaline kick in. It was one of those calls where my fire engine could only go 5 miles per hour. So I was trying to hurry it up, man. In our area, the ambulance doesn't always stay in Hatch most of the time. That day, the ambulance was actually moved to Las Cruces. I show up on scene, and there's no ambulance on scene. I was the only EMT on scene for for the whole scene until I got a couple of first responders to help me. But I was the only EMT on scene until the helicopter landed, and then they jumped off their flight crew. They helped us, and they said, "No, there's no way we can transport them. We had to call it," and they called it on scene.
Fuck. Fuck. Oh man. Oh, that's heartbreaking. That's absolutely heartbreaking.
That was one of the worst calls in my life, and I would never forget about that one. The other ones I can push them off and everything, but when I get a call when it's a kid involved, that's what takes you. Any kid, if it's an older person, you know what, that person, it is what it is. But when it's a baby involved, I go as fast as I can. I push what I can do because a kid is barely starting to live his life, and he deserves to live their life. So,
God, over an accident. Jesus.
Over a freak
I'm crushed to hear
a
that.
freak accident.
That is
Jeez.
sad. That is really sad. You know that that kid from Alpha Dog, that kid, he died in a freak accident. He got out of his car and it started in reverse. It kicked back in the reverse and he was behind the car and it pinned him against the wall and killed him. That guy. So that was a freak accident,
Yeah.
And in this it's just an accident, but to hear it, it's just crushing, man. How can you ever forget something like that, Just how can you ever? Golly.
So as we know right now, and me and Pete were kind of talking about this before, I keep bringing it up, and you can be like, "Nah, you're crazy." There's been a lot of fires lately. There's been a lot of fires here, especially in Colorado, and there's probably a lot of fires in your area. Any fires when you go and get them? Do they feel a little suspicious right now?
There's a bug out there. Yes, very suspicious. The other day there was fire in Doña Ana County down south. They moved my department to Doña Ana Station to cover calls. On our way home, we passed and we saw a guy on the side of the road. It was very dark, and we saw a guy with a flashlight. And we passed by, and the guys are like, "Oh yeah, there's a guy on the side of the road." So we didn't think nothing of it. 10 miles down the road, we get a call for a brush fire. So I advised dispatch, "Hey, we're in the area. We can take it if you want." So we took the call, and we couldn't find the guy. But yeah, he was lighting fires down the road. So yeah, it's fishy out there. There's been a lot of those here lately within the county. So there's a bug out there somewhere, and they're out to catch him. So
wow,
setting fires.
Well, yeah, I don't know what they get out of it, but yeah, they're starting fires. I guess I don't know if you've seen the paper. There was one in Doña Ana or Anthony or somewhere in that area that there was a house that burnt down like a month ago, and it was caught fire again like a week ago. They burned it down again after they had pulled it out or whatever. It burnt down again. Somehow it burnt down again, but nobody knows. So yeah,
it's a little fishy.
That is a little fishy.
And that's one thing that we wanted to bring up, because you've been doing it for so long. Do you ever run across? I mean, do you have to go and investigate any of these fires and see how they start? Do you see anything like that?
On our end, we don't. We have our personnel on the county. We have our fire investigators. That's all they do is investigate our fires. So they do all the investigations for us. We go, we tell them what we see and what happened or what was going on when we got there, and then they do their job, and they're good at their job, man, because they figure out what happened and they know where it came from. So it's crazy as how much damage is done to the building and everything, and they can figure out where it started and everything.
Have you ever seen something that's kind of sketchy where it's like crazy arson? Oh, like yeah. I want to hear a wild arson story. I mean, that's what I want to hear.
I don't know. It's been about 10 years or less. Up in Mesquite, I don't know. You hear of you know about the dairy fires in Mesquite?
Mesquite,
right?
Oh yeah.
Those were actually lit by volunteer firefighters, and they got caught. I guess they lit a big old hay barn fire, and they ended up talking about it to somebody, and they ended up busting them. They had like lit like 4 of them or something like that. But yeah, they all got caught and charged with arson. Volunteers.
Holy shit.
Why were they lighting them on
Yeah.
fire? Was it an insurance purpose?
Oh, it was for them to get the fire call so they can have something to do, because a hay fire, it takes about 3 days to put out, 3 or 4 days to put out a hay fire. So it was them that they were bored, so they had something to do. It was crazy. Yeah, I read that all in the paper. I'm like, wow, man. And then they all got charged, and I don't know how much time they did, but they all did a little bit of time, and they had to pay a fee.
Well,
Jeez.
because when you're volunteer, I mean, if I'm right, I mean, I have a cousin that was a volunteer firefighter for some time back at home, and they did have a payout structure. Like at the end of the year, they got an X amount of dollars per fire and so
They-
forth.
Yeah, that just started with Doñana County. We just got that going last year, but when all these hay fires were going on, it was strictly 100% no pay at all. So yeah, they're doing it just to have the call. Now there's a stipend where it's a point system. So like every 6 months they're paying out, and our fire chief for the county, he made it to where you pay out on November right before Christmas, and then
Oh, that's good.
he pays it out in May right before school starts to help you buy your kids their school clothes. So he helps the volunteers out. Which if you
That's
respond,
awesome.
if you make the call and respond, you make a good check at the end of the day. I actually made a good decent check. My wife made a bigger check than me, but it was a good check for both of us. We made over $3,000 for 4 months of calls that we ran.
Oh, hell yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It's a good help for us, and the kids had one of the best Christmases in their life. So it
Oh, I
was good.
bet. I bet. That is so cool, man. To be honest, to be 100% honest, I always thought volunteers just did it for the kindness of their hearts. I didn't even know they even got any sort of payout. That's great. That's really good to hear.
It's the first time we ever got anything. Like I said, I've been doing it for 18 years. I've never got a penny out of it until this. They started doing a stipend program to help us out and encourage us more to do it. Encourage more people to do it, because there's not many volunteers anymore like they used to be. There's not many volunteers, and we're very short-handed, and we need the help.
Yeah, back at home, it hasn't been very long. Yeah,
Yeah.
they haven't been doing it very long.
You want to volunteer? Come to Garfield. I'll put you down in my department and put you to work.
That's the best. Anybody want to go work out? That's the best way to fucking shed a little bit of weight and go fucking start throwing some hoses.
Throwing
how much those
hoses and
How much those hoses weigh?
Oh, they weigh it depends on what the roll is. There's a roll that is 50 feet, and there's 100 feet rolls. I carry on my trucks. I got the 50 feet rolls, and they're about 15, 20 pounds every 50 feet.
jeez. And how about with water in them? Obviously, they're a little heavier.
Yeah, when they have water in them, when we put them up, we're supposed to drain them. But yeah, they still keep a little bit of water in them, and it's still about 15, 20 pounds. It's not very much.
Still, I mean, after running around and fucking carrying a hose and shit, your adrenaline's going.
Oh yeah.
Whew, that shit can get you tired.
After 15 minutes of pulling hose and running around, your body's shot. You get tired, man, because your adrenaline's kicking in, and once your adrenaline goes away, you get tired. It kicks your butt at the end, man. It's like, oh my God.
Hits you out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, out of nowhere. See,
So you're again. So you and your wife, you guys like tag team as like chiefs, or like you're the chief and she's like a firefighter with you.
she's the firefighter with me. I'm the chief. I have an assistant chief. I have one captain and 2 lieutenants. I delegate work to them, and then it moves on. So I'm the boss of my station only, but in the county there's 17 departments, so each station has their own chief, and then we have our bigger chief that runs everybody after all of us.
Oh wow! And you guys got a little center, right? You guys like are based out of a little center or something?
Yes, we have our own department. It's in Garfield. We're Garfield Volunteer Fire Department Station 11.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
yeah, so there's Doñana. It's Doñana, Anthony Fire Department. University Fire is actually part of Doñana County. I don't know if you guys knew that.
No. I did.
NMSU Fire is part of Doñana County. So,
Yeah.
and then we got Las Alturas Fire, we got Oregon Fire, Rincon Fire, La Union Fire,
Damn.
Radium Springs Fire, Chaparral Fire, Mesquite Fire, Garfield Fire, Fair Acres Fire,
Jeez.
There's a
South
good
Dallas
amount of y'all.
Fire, Chamberino Fire. Who else am I missing? There's 15.
There's
Yeah.
17 of you all, right?
There's 17 of us.
In all. And you had recently, because I remember you had chimed in on the when you chime in on all of them, and we definitely appreciate you. But in one of them, you said that you delivered a baby. Now
Yes.
talk a little bit about that.
That was an experience, man. It was crazy. So we got a call early morning on a Thursday morning. We had got a call that morning for a sick guy that was sick in the area. So the ambulance, of course, there's only one ambulance in Hatch. So they transported him to Las Cruces. And of course, there's no ambulance in town. So they paged out the fire department for a second call that happened. So I figured, we'll take the call. Or they paged out another department, Rincon Fire. And there was no people available for their call. So it moves on. Like if he's not available, they move on to the next station that's the closest. So it was us that's closer. They paged us out. We answered. We got on scene within minutes. And we get them. This lady's all like, "Oh, I'm pregnant and I'm having contractions. They're about every 5 minutes." I'm like, "Oh, cool." So by the time they get here, wow, it's cake. We'll just take her vitals. We'll just keep an eye on her. So I had my wife and one of my other guys go grab all the equipment. We put her on the monitor, check her heart rate, check the blood pressure and everything. And I could tell she's having contractions. And they were about 5 minutes apart for about 10 minutes. It was like, she's okay. And all of a sudden, she's like, they're a minute apart. So I was watching the monitor, and I could see the monitor. Every time it hit her, I can see the monitor like, yeah, she's getting one now. And I look at her, and you can see her face. She was tough. She was tough, man. She wouldn't scream or nothing. She just like,
Oh, fuck that.
I'm all like, oh, crap. So then she's all like, my water broke. I'm like, why is this happening so fast? It's her second baby, and like, no, this doesn't happen that fast. So like, all right, we carry an OB kit, which all the stuff for a baby in there. So I put it on the bed. I opened it up, and I didn't take out nothing because everything's sterile of the OB kits. So I didn't want to open nothing and touch nothing until we were pretty sure she was gonna deliver. So my wife had her lay on her back, and then with her clothes on and everything, lay on her back, and then told her she has to try to push and see what happens. And she said, I'm pushing this baby out. We're like, all right. I told my wife, undress her. Let's get her ready. So they pulled her pants down. We covered her with all the stuff that we have. We put stuff under her to catch fluids. And 5 minutes later, the head popped out.
Wow.
Fuck.
So my wife caught the head. I get the suction. We suction out. And then I told the lady, you need to get this baby out. You need to push one more time. Give me one good push. She pushed it, and my wife caught it right away. And then she started doing her thing. She cleaned the baby off. Started massaging the baby to get color back in the baby, and everything was. It was a textbook delivery, which there was no complications or anything. And thank God for that, because if it would have been worse, and then we would have been pretty much SOL.
I mean,
Wow.
1 minute. I mean, what time of night was this?
It was early morning. It was 9 in the morning.
9 in the morning. And so you were there at home, right?
I was off that day of work. I didn't go to work that day. I was at home just chilling, and the call came out.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, you're literally you're hanging out in the early morning, and then literally 30 minutes later, you're like, I've delivered a baby. Like, what the fuck? Oh man, you know, when my son was born, she had a C-section, so I wasn't able to see, so I was just with her, but this may be kind of weird, but whatever. My oldest nephew, I was there with my sister when he was born because his father wasn't able to attend. So I kind of saw that, which is super odd. I can't imagine. Like, I don't want to see it again unless it's my lady, So, I mean, kudos to you, but, you're there with your wife, and kudos to her, too, on Good job on delivering that baby, you all. That's an experience.
That's a crazy experience, and not even your own kid; it's somebody else's. That's crazy.
Yeah. Then and after we had the baby, we handed it to Mama. She held the baby, whatever, and she started telling the baby like, "This is your heroes. You guys are her heroes," and it was a good feeling. Like 4 days later, after she got released from the hospital, she came to my house, and she brought us a big old basket with a bunch of fruit and everything inside it, and she came to thank us and everything. So it was awesome.
That's so cool. That is so cool.
Look at that, delivering a baby. Jeez Louise. It's not everybody. That's not just anything somebody can say. Like, hey, I've
Yeah.
delivered a baby.
It's 18 years, man, and it's this is the first one we got to deliver. I've delivered one in the past, and it was already out when we got there. It was coming out when we got there, so she had pushed out, and we just picked it up. But this one, we actually from start to end, we delivered the full baby, everything. I was like, wow.
So after question, I have a question though. So after you have the baby and everything, do you guys bring her to the hospital, or
Yes,
like does she go on her own accord?
No, she has to come to the hospital. So after about what was it, 45 minutes or or about an hour, the ambulance finally showed up, and then they loaded her on the ambulance and they transported her to the hospital. So as a volunteer fire department, we run EMS calls. We can do everything an EMT can do, but the only thing we can't do is transport.
I got you.
Oh, okay.
So you gotta wait for the bus.
We gotta wait for the bus to get there. Yeah.
I'm with you. And just to ask, have you yourself or anybody you've ever been with gotten hurt on a call? Like whether it be physically or by somebody else, something. Have any of you ever experienced something like that while on a call?
Yeah, there's been a lot of injuries. Which one can I recall? I know I hurt my back one day. It was Christmas Eve one day, house fire.
Ouch.
And we were spraying
Christmas
water.
Eve.
As we were spraying water, it was freezing on the ground.
Oh
So
shit.
it was like a sheet of ice on the ground. So when you were walking, you were sliding. You weren't walking, you were sliding around. And I ended up falling on my back, and I with a full SCBA on everything. I went back. In those days, I was weighing a little bit more than I am, and it hurt my back for a little while. I was out for a couple of weeks, but I can't remember anybody really getting hurt. That's my job. Is I at the end of the day, everybody goes home. Nobody goes home hurt, because
That's good.
I make sure of that. Yeah, that's my goal. Is you guys are going to do the work now. I've done it for 18 years. Now it's my turn to make sure you guys go home.
It's a good way to look at it, and
Very
that's
good way.
good that you don't have. That's good that there's not a lot of harmful calls. Because it definitely says something. Whatever you're doing it's being done right. So
Yeah, we get some calls that like you see in the movies where the hoses they fly up in the air and they pick people up and drop them.
yeah,
That's true. That happened to me the other day when I don't know if you've seen we had a hatch fire here in Hatch, and one of the guys we couldn't get pressure to the hose, and he gave it to full 200 from psi pressure. It picked me up off the ground and it knocked me on my ass. I've never seen that happen. I'm like, oh wow, this is just like the movies, and it does happen, man. It's crazy.
Oh
So you-
shit.
It's crazy.
So you can really ride a fire hose, like it'll really pick you up off the ground.
Oh yeah, it'll pick you up. Yeah, I was weighing.
Well, jackass, right?
Yeah, I was weighing I was weighing 290, and it picked me off the ground like nothing.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, imagine back in the day they used to fucking hose people. If you fucking think about it, like, isn't that some fucked up shit? Like, I'm not trying to open up a fucking can of
The
shit,
police-
but
The police used to hose people down.
yeah, isn't that some fucked up shit? God damn, we've gone long ways, but have we? But have we?
Yeah.
I'd probably rather be hosed than probably shot by a gun. So I don't know.
or beanbagged. No, but when you get hosed by the hose, that pressure it burns you, like it cuts you. It's hard. It's a lot of pressure.
Really?
Yeah.
It hurts.
Even
it's-
far? Like from far? Like if I was 50 yards away, I could feel it?
Yeah, you
Oh.
can feel it. Oh yeah, you would feel it easy.
So Ouch.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't want to get hit with water. I'd probably just take a pellet. I'll take a pellet.
Yeah, taking a bullet would be all right depending on where it hits you.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know about the hose. You know, and minorities used to take them pretty bad back in the day. That's some
You,
fucked up shit if you think about it.
you live in Las Cruces, right, Pete?
I do. I
You need,
do.
you need to take a drive to Garfield one day, and I'll give you a tour of the station, and you can tape
Boom.
it. You can tape the station, and you can tape all the trucks, and I'll show you where all the magic happens. And it's a small station, but it's an older station, but we keep it maintained where it looks very nice, man. I have a good crew that they keep it up, they keep cleaning. We have new stuff, so it's very good.
Do you hear that, Phil?
That'd be fun, man.
Right.
That would
So
be
we gotta-
amazing.
We gotta get scheduled ready to get there. We gotta do the tear together is what we gotta do. You know, so now it'd be nice to sit down there and definitely have a little conversation and check that out. I haven't been to a fire station in years.
Me either.
Hey Phil, have you ever lived in Las Cruces before or anything?
Yeah, I lived with Pete for 2
You-
years, a year.
You used to work at the cell phone repair shop,
No, I used to work at Sitel.
Sitel? Okay. You literally the guy that used to work at the cell phone repair shop.
I look like everybody down there. Seriously, I look like everybody down there. Everybody here, I'm the only person here in Boulder. You know, if I wear my Uggs and I drink Starbucks, I'm good. But like over there, I look like everybody. Literally, I look like everybody.
So really quick, I gotta ask: do you have really good perks knowing the law enforcement around town?
Yes and no.
You would say that. Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes. There's if I'm not messing around, I'm hauling ass or being an idiot, they're gonna pull me over and they're gonna say they ain't gonna give me no slack. But say I forgot to throw a seatbelt on me, and I'm driving down the road and I didn't put my seatbelt on. They'll pull me over and tell me, "Hey, what the hell are you doing? Put your seatbelt on." You know what I mean? They ain't give me a ticket, but they're gonna remind me you gotta wear your ticket. But yeah, it depends on who it is.
Yeah, I'll take one of those though. I mean, somebody still
Me
got to
too.
do their job, but hey, throw the seatbelt on, dude. Turn on the lights. You know, that's a little bit different than motherfucker. Why you going 90 and a 70 or something?
Right.
On a fire truck, I can go as fast as I can as long as it's safe. So like if there's no traffic or whatever, I go as fast as I can as long as I'm being safe. So it's state law for any emergency vehicle. We can go as fast as we can as long as there's no traffic and you're being safe. So
And you're driving a big truck, right? You're driving an engine?
it depends on where I'm coming from. If I'm at the station, I'll drive a big engine. But I actually I have my own chief vehicle at home.
Hell yeah. That's
So, yeah.
dope.
Yeah, so I have the perks of having a vehicle I can bring home and I can answer from home. So in my vehicle, I have everything that you need for a car accident, emergency vehicle, emergency technician calls. I can do a lot out of my pickup truck I have.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, that's really cool. So
He's
you
just
have so you really don't have to drive the engine if you really don't have to.
I really don't have to. Yeah, I'll let the other guys that are eager to drive it. I've done my time.
Is that how it is with the truck? Like you've already done your time. I don't want to take it. What's the nuisance? What's the problem?
It's not. It's these younger kids are eager to learn, so you want to teach them the ropes and because it's a career that doesn't last very long. A lifespan of volunteer is about 2 years.
Oh wow.
That's just a lifespan of a volunteer. It's about 2 years. So after 2 years, you don't see very many people no more. So you want to get them involved. You want to let them do. You want to let them do things. So if it's driving a fire truck to a call and keep them going and excited, let them drive the truck. You know what I mean? I'll let them do whatever they need to keep coming back because they're my backbone of the department.
Yeah.
Look at that. Jesus Christ. Fucking words of wisdom right there. I don't give a shit who you are. I love the approach.
Me too. Do you guys have a fire dog?
No, we don't.
I had to ask. I had to ask.
You have a Dalmatian? You
Oh,
have a
do you guys have a
Dalmatian?
Dalmatian?
Everybody's talked about it, but like at the station, it's volunteer, so there's not everybody there all the time. Everybody responds from home to the station, so if we did have a fire dog, everybody's gonna be fighting to buy dog food for it and everything, and ain't nobody want to do it. But it's been talked about of a lot of the times.
I think y'all should get one, dude.
Yeah, me
Personally, a
too.
little is somebody always there at the station or no?
No, everybody's a volunteer, so everybody drives to the station if a call pops up. So everybody, there's not many people. I have a vehicle, and then I have another unit I let my lieutenant take home. But other than that, everybody drives to the station and catches the truck at the station.
Oh, there you go. Somebody just has to commit on getting a dog. Somebody just commits on raising a dog on their own and including the fire in its life. It's definitely going to be successful.
When we when we go back to having meetings again, because we're not meeting because of this COVID-19, but I'm gonna bring it up and see if we can get anybody to help raise a puppy, and we'll take him to the meetings. We'll throw him in the truck on a call or whatever. We'll train them. So I'll bring it
That'd
up.
be
And
cool.
I'll keep you updated on that.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Who can wait?
That would be cool. That'd be really cool, actually. Man,
So really quick, I just have to say, I'm just gonna lose. I'm gonna lose my shit on my dog after we get off this podcast.
Uh-oh.
My dog came by. My phone's charging. It's charging next to me. He walked by and he knocked the charging cord and it fell flat down. And guess what? Fucking spider web. He knocked my phone down. They just spider web the corner. Pretty
dude, I'll
bad.
fix it.
So
So
I'm-
another display. I'll fix it.
I am drastically upset right now. I just wanna go ape shit. But no, it's that's definitely that's good stuff, you know. And one thing I wanted to say, you know, before we put to an end of it because you know, we just wanted to hear a little bit on your end. You know, it's still really, you know, thinking about this basically the saddest call that you've ever had there, including a family member. You know, I don't know how anybody ever gets over something like that. You just don't. You learn to live with it because it's death. You know, I guess that's what we do. You know, we just learn to live with it.
Yep.
You know, but God, if it's not just a heart wrenching story, you know, the fact on just how it was just an accident and how it happened. And if you don't mind me asking him, the really quick, just a little bit more detail about that. The person was driving was like a relative of the boy.
It's the uncle. Yeah, it was the uncle.
Oh, so it was the uncle of the little boy.
It was the uncle, the little boy, and the uncle and the dad worked together, so they carpooled, and the uncle picked up the dad and took him to work every morning, and then he dropped him off at end of the day of work, dropped him off, and the little boy ran to the truck, trying to chase his dad, and they never saw him. It was a big old pickup truck, never saw him, and took him.
Just a little kid running around a big pickup truck, man. You know, that's one of the precautions we take when I go home because a lot of my family and a lot of my family and friends have big vehicles. You know, and that's one thing that we're real cautious about because there's a lot of kids. We're Mexican. There's a bunch of us.
That's changed. That's changed a lot for that family, and it's changed for my family. Before we leave anywhere, we do a 360 around the car. Hey, where's everybody at? Stand in front of me before I reverse. Or everybody. Yeah, that's what everybody does now. It's been a life lesson for everybody. You know?
It just once again, it's definitely a heart wrenching story, and once again, shout out to you for having to go through something like that. Like you say, you got to move on, and looks like you moved on well. You've made a hell of a career out of it, 18 years, and it looks like you got a lot more. So shout out to you, Senor. If anybody wants to get a hold of you or ask you any questions, where can they get you?
You can get me on Facebook. You can get me on Facebook. Anywhere else, they can get me on Facebook, and I can give them the phone number or whatever they want.
Boom. There it is.
Yeah, if you
He's
want to
always on the
volunteer,
live too.
if you want to volunteer, Randy.
Yep.
Randy's the man. He needs volunteers.
There it is. He does need volunteers. And with us, guys, we came back with another one. We're going to post some audio, post this up for the tube. So y'all check us out. Like it, share it, subscribe it. And stay high.
Say
People.
hi. This is Phil. That's Pete. That's Randy. Everybody, have a great day. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.